Thank you. Your applause isn't just for Ty. You are also honoring every member of our military that has shown and demonstrated the same valor that Ty did on the night of Benghazi. After 6 years, how does a father cope with the death of their son? Now, my view on reality, that I don't push on anyone else, is that not one sparrow falls to the ground outside of God's will. When that mortar went up and came down on top of the building, it passed through God's loving fingers. There was a time for Ty to be born, and there was a time for him to come home. That was his time. Each one of us needs to make our life count. Each one of us needs to make our death count as well. Part of Ty's life message was the way that he died. He died honorably. He died for a purpose. As a father, I could not picture him in a rest home. That wasn't the way he'd like to go. He was doing what he wanted to do. He'd retired. He did this voluntarily. He had a son at home that was only a couple of months old. He was doing this because he loved our country, because he loved his family. He was doing it for the right reasons. Unfortunately, something very bad happened. He could have been rescued, but he wasn't. Now, my relationship with Ty has been interrupted for about 30 years. One of these days, I know where he's at, and I want to see him again. But I also know that unless I forgive everyone, I won't be there. So I really can say, honestly, I have no animosity towards anyone that was responsible for his death. 6 years later, we still do not know the truth about Benghazi. There were naval vessels just a few miles offshore from Libya, armed with Tomahawk missiles and other precision weapons. Why was the order not given to rescue Ty, the ambassador, and the other Americans in Benghazi? The truth has never come out. Why was the terrorist attack not called a terrorist attack? Why was it erroneously blamed on a video that no one watched? Maybe we'll never know the truth. But Romans 8:28 says that all things work together for good to those that love God. And I knew from the very beginning that something good, I didn't know what it was going to happen as a result of Ty's sacrifice. Maybe, just maybe, someone was inspired to lay down their life for our country. Maybe, just maybe, someone decided to become a Navy SEAL. Maybe someone became an American hero in the eyes of their children and their spouse. Maybe, in a little way, someone learned to forgive that had a hard time forgiving. Maybe someone who had a problem coping with the death of a loved one came to realize that not one sparrow falls to the ground outside of God's will. Maybe, in a little way, what happened in Benghazi changed the direction of the last presidential election. Maybe, in a little way, what happened in Benghazi propelled our country in a better direction as well. Maybe, just maybe, some good came out of the sacrifice of Ty in Benghazi. Thank you.